G'day and welcome to another video. This one is a little bit different. The other day, a few of us got to test out MyWhoosh and the World Championship courses for the first time. So this video is going to take you through the three stages that are going to be held at the live final for the World Championships in the UAE. I'll talk you through what I thought of each stage. There's a few things that could be improved on and how the performance was as well. So first impressions entering the world were that, the colours got a nice feel of it. The racetrack also has quite a nice visual feel, and this is only running the basic MyWhoosh version. So on the HD version, that would probably be a little bit crisper again. The first stage is an interesting one, and this will only be at the live final, not the semi-finals. And it's a 1.7 kilometer lap with a 300 meter segment on the straight. You can kind of see in the mini map there, those two green banners on the left. That's where the segment is. The idea of this one is that you have 15 minutes to perform your fastest 300 meter segment, and you can do so in as many attempts as you want or however you wish. My plan for this one was, given the size of the field, I figured that the most draft would probably be accessible on lap one, even though I didn't know the course or the real specifics. I thought that having a crack on lap one would be the best way to go. And I also knew that race 2 and 3 would be pretty difficult as well. So try and save the legs for those efforts for race 2 and 3 with a bit of a one and done, hope for the best, and then see what happens. So that was the plan. Let's see how it panned out. So 3 seconds to the start. Right, everyone's off. I'm not sure if everyone in the field kind of knows the format and how it's going to work, but a few somewhat fast starts considering. Again, I like the visual feel of the world here. Just trying to get a feel for when the time to go would be, where the groups are going to form. Coming to this velodrome looking situation here, which again I think visually is quite cool. You've got here that the sprint starts in 500 meters, but it doesn't really start to count down, unfortunately. So that's something that needs to be addressed. As you come around the velodrome bank, there's a slight little downhill. You pick up some speed. So kind of cruising along at 56 k's an hour there. I think from here it's important to hold speed fairly well. And I'm starting to pick up the speed now. So I'm at top speed by the time we hit the start. Working through in the 900s. Kind of run out of gears just slightly, I'd say. I'd rather having one more gear on my bike, and in the second half I lose draft in comparison to the first half, which slows the speed down a little bit. A time of 18.15 puts me a second behind Ollie Jones. Currently in third place on the leaderboard, now down to fifth. I think there's room to improve on that one. The power was okay. As I said, I would have liked one extra gear to hold some power a little bit better for my technique. But it was a decent attempt, and I was pretty happy to just sit there and watch what happened in the remaining 12 minutes, cruise around and save the energy for the next race. I like that the leaderboard updates, so you can kind of see where you're placed in terms of points, what you need to do to improve. As you can see, as the event goes on, I'm now down to 7th place, slowly dropping down the rankings as a few people go faster. You can use lead outs to help you with your times and stuff. One thing I kind of found from this one is I honestly felt like there was a little bit too much luck involved. it really depended on how many riders were around to kind of maintain that draft and keep your speed high. Uh, and if you just got unlucky that you lost draft in a key spot, you'd probably lose half a second compared to other guys that didn't have that. I'm not sure what I think of it as something that's going to be in the World Champs final. I mean, when you get there and you might have some teammates that you can work together with, it's maybe negated. But on the whole, I'm not sure about it as a format. As much as I like tactical decisions and having to think your way through it. But again, liking the leaderboard, liking the visuals. I did hear from some riders that their times weren't updating properly. So Kate, I know her time came up 8 seconds slower than her PB in the official results. So that's something that needs to be worked on. Coming into the finish, just to show what happens here, the allotted time is over, and I think the results board will show up here. Get the automatic upload. So I just cruised around. The leaderboard comes up there with your points, so 20 for first, all the way down to 1 for the 20th place. I think I was about 10th. Can't quite see it on the screen there. Yep, 10th, so 11 points. A few sprinters and things like that just up ahead. I was kind of looking here for Kate to see where she finished. 8 seconds slower than what she actually did the segment. When I looked at the official results, the person who won was some kind of glitch. Not sure what happened there, but they only averaged 5 watts a kilo and did a 16-second sprint. So, again, something that needs to be tidied up for the final. Here we are, ready for race 2. This is a 9-kilometre race with 3 first across the line segments for points. There's a sprint to the base of a climb, immediately followed by about a 4-minute climb at my pace, and then there's finish line points as well on quite an undulating finish. Now, the World Champs Racebook says that the first sprint comes after 5 kilometres. Then you've got the climb into a descent to the finish. But for some reason, they had changed this prior to the practice without letting us know. And in the chat just before the race, they let us know that the base of the climb would be at about the 2K mark. So glad I had the chat open so I could see that. I'll take you through some of the action here. Just trying to get a feel for the MyWhoosh dynamics again with the power lag. I've got 3-second average power on here to try and psychologically not think about the lag, but it takes 2 or 3 seconds from when you actually put the power down for it to display on screen. So you're always kind of preempting what's going to happen next, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but that's just how MyWhoosh is at the moment. So I can kind of see on the mini map on the right where the flat section finishes, but I'm not exactly sure how far that's going to be in terms of distance. I kind of want to finish somewhere up near the front, but without using a full sprint before that climb with some of the real world's contenders here. Live leaderboard on the left is there and currently is correct, which is a good feature. This doesn't remain the whole time. Again, finding it interesting to modulate the power just a little bit there. And my general guide for today was to keep on the power for the most part, just to ensure I didn't get caught out by any moves that then the lag would mean that I'd have to work too hard to get back on with. A few people trying to attack here. Currently sitting in about 8th place. You can see the green banner on the left now. I'm still not sure exactly how far it is, but it couldn't be too far. Again, a solid amount of watts without being all in. Just want to kind of get to this banner here in a decent spot without using everything, as I said. There's the banner. We're looking at a decent position, about sixth through that one, or fifth. Yeah, fifth. So the leaderboard's updated, I think still correct at this point, and here's the start of the climb. Very early on, you can see some of the contenders heading to the front. Not sure who Lily Franken is up the top there, but that's a bit of a glitch. But you've got Lionel Kaminsky, Ollie Jones heading to the front. And these are the guys to follow, so I've got to kind of get on them as soon as I can. Can already see that the group's thinned out. Ruben is just in between, but then there's 7 seconds to the next group. So this is the key split of the race. Might just fast forward the climb just slightly. Again, hard to modulate the exact power. These three guys race on MyWhoosh all the time, so I'm kind of getting a feel for it. Again, trying not to ease off too much because I know that the way they ride, they're just going to keep pretty steady on the pace and drive it home. So looks like us four are getting away, and so my goal at this stage is to try and stay with these guys because otherwise it's going to be a tough last probably 5K to hold off the chasers, which include Ruben, Richard Barry, Honda. I think Gates probably somewhere. So some really, really good riders. A few things that are being learnt as they go. So as you can see, Smithson says there, we need countdown to next segment. I agree. Now, the second half of this climb gets pretty hard, up into the 7.5 watt a kilo range. Heart rate's up over 170, so I'm working hard. The guys are all up into the 8 watts a kilo. Glad that I'm in good form, so I'm able to follow. Had a pretty good positive mindset about it as well. Willing to go towards PB numbers, that's for sure. See on the mini map on the left that the gap has grown from where we are to the chasers. Heart rate up into the 175. And this last little kicker is really steep. This is where the sprint to the top will occur. The guys start to launch over 10 watts a kilo, and at this stage I can't follow that. Still, pushing pretty solid 500 watts, but don't have 10 in me. Lionel is getting a bit of a gap. Kaminsky's in second there, and either can't follow or doesn't follow. And the banner's just up here. Ollie Jones is kicking to the line. I'm just hoping to stay on the wheels heading into this descent. Maybe pick up this spot here as we go across. Nice bit of momentum. Gets me third across. So you can see there it says 18 points, but in the official results for some reason on that climb it said that I was fourth. So not sure what happened there. Right now, a little recovery on this descent. It's a really steep descent. I think a few section of 0 watts to recover, and then just like a little kick in the middle to not get dropped. Really steep descent. 95 k's an hour. We'll pretty much fast forward into the last few k's here. Ollie and I are pretty much riding together for second. I don't know about him, but I was in control of the effort. It was steady, but not too hard. Made a little attempt to try and close this gap to Lionel, but he was able to match it. So I was kind of happy to either be second or third in this one at the finish line, and then just try and contest a finish against Ollie, who won the first race, which would be difficult. Coming into the finish, bit of an uphill kick. If Ollie didn't attack, my goal was to sprint first and just catch him off guard with the lag. So by the time he knew that I was sprinting, it would be too late, hopefully. And that's what I try and do here, up into 800 plus watts. You can see the finish line there. He's now responding, doing more watts per kilo than me. And I start to see his head, and I'm like, oh no, don't catch me. But just hold on. Again, 18 points. Not sure why 18. Second should be 19. Plus, yeah, not sure. Few issues with the results, but that's the overall. So keeping on riding after the finish until the next event opens. There's some leaderboard issues now. The points don't add up. People are getting points as they ride. So a few things have got to tidy up there. Take you to the third race, which is a 16-kilometre. So this one is 16 Ks, 4 laps of a 4-kilometre circuit with points at the finish of every lap. The finish comes on quite a steep little kicker, 50 seconds to a minute. You can see it on the right-hand side, just before where we are right now. Ruben seems to know how long the climb's going to take. Is that pretty intuitive to what actually happens? Feeling pretty good, to be honest, after the second race. Goal was just to, hang on, see what happens, send it on the climb, see how we compare. Off we go, get the power up 3 seconds before the start, so it registers when the go button comes up. Difficult to try and position yourself on the downhill with everyone taking off. I thought I was this guy down here, but I think then I was actually this guy, so I'll fast forward to the first climb because not much happens here. And we're into the climb now. The top guys take off at about 11 watts a kilo, and I'm just trying to think what I can hold for about a minute. So I'm thinking, over 600 watts would be great. Quickly starting to feel a bit overgeared, and that I don't have the punch that some of these guys have right now, unfortunately. I can see them riding off into the distance, which is a little bit demoralizing. So I'm just in a little second group forming here with Richard Barry and Lou Bates. Pretty impressive. You can see the finish line there. Kind of lost 7 seconds or so to the front. Those 4 guys. So the 3 strongest, and then Ruben, who's very punchy as well. So they're away. So disappointing to be dropped at this stage, and I'm starting to think, can I catch back onto this group in between? Is that going to ruin my next climb? What's the deal from there? Honda beat me over the first one. The scoreboard on the left's all kinds of wrong at this stage, but we'll take it. Plan here is to hopefully settle into like a thresholdy type power. So doing 5.5, kind of 6 watts a kilo, seeing if I can catch those riders up ahead before it's too late. Hopefully with guys like Richard Barry and Honda, we can make some inroads on it. But then at the moment you get that there's Richard Barry or someone having a wave. you get to the point where you don't want to drag these guys around and then they smash you on the climb. So it's a tricky one. Hopefully the guys would work together so we can do it. We never quite managed to get there. Heading into the second climb, again, we can see them just up ahead there, but now they're back into their 11 watt per kilo kick. So that's something I need to work on before the Worlds, because these guys can go to another level. They can ride at, sub threshold and then just go bang for 45 seconds or so. Whereas I'm back here only kind of in the 8 watt per kilo range and not really feeling fantastic. Richard's riding pretty strong at this point, having a good battle, but losing more and more time. Certainly learning what we need to focus on before the Worlds, though. Pretty hard work, honestly, up to the top of this com. Probably a bit over geared again, I'd say. So I need to kind of work on what gears we need for that little climb. Managed to come across fifth. Keep on the power a little bit and then drop off to hopefully pick up some speed down the hill. So I can see if we can make inroads. Ruben has lost a bit of time at this stage. So kind of goal was to hopefully catch any of these guys if they dropped off the front pack. But it's still close enough that I think Ruben was able to close that gap with some good power. Heading into the climb, lap 3, I've probably done more of the work than Richard, but he certainly helped out. Ruben's now on his own, and I think Lionel's just dropping Ollie on the climb here as well. So another battle against these two riders on the climb to the top. Thought I'd try and come through this one a bit more if I could. Again, Richard looking really strong. But when it comes to the World, it's going to need to be able to punch it more than 8.5 watts a kilo based on this one. But it's a savage format. This race is going to be like almost a 20-minute test with 4 by all in minutes. So I know what I need to work on. That as a whole, MyWhoosh just doesn't feel like there's much draft as there is. So looking at how attritional this was, I can't see sprinters holding on for this race, to be honest, at the Worlds. And grab a little bit of a gap over the top of that one to Richard. And then I think I just managed to sneak into this rider's wheel, which manages to get me a little bit extra speed. That's a lapped rider. And then I've got 2 seconds. Ruben's now only 6 ahead. So I think that now this is the time that if I can get up into some good watts, I can not have to worry about sprinting against Richard and Honda. Then also hopefully catch Ruben and then work together with him over the last few K to help as well. Honestly, the dynamics of this game feel like just a big individual time trial with some avatars thrown around you. I don't think there's much drafting benefit for the most part. Certainly compared to a platform like IndieVelo anyway, the dynamics still feel like they need some work in my opinion. But I was still pretty happy with the experience overall. It probably exceeded my expectations. It's certainly going to be savage racing. No question about that. It's super difficult. So I've caught Ruben now. Up into third place. And the MyWhoosh dynamic there with the roll through. It's a bit interesting of how your roll turns. You kind of just yo-yo past each other back and forth a bit. This little puncher in the middle of the course is quite tricky. certainly adds another element to that kind of punch that you have to use at the end as well, because you have to kick up here every lap also. The format of the Worlds is going to create some tactical decisions for sure with the point system. Do you go all in with the 150 riders in the first race? I can climb well for that 4 or 5 minutes and try and pick up enough points and back yourself in to be one of the top 5-10 riders and almost assure yourself that spot, or do you think about the second race? Because as you saw there, I got dropped in the second race, so it's going to be attritional. Do you save some legs for race 2 and just go completely all in and hope to go bang, 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 bang with laps back to back and get yourself a good place in race 2 with some continual points flow to try and make the 20 in that way? Lot of decisions to make. Ruben went hard early on this last climb, got a gap, but I managed to kick pretty strongly to the line. The fact I was able to kick stronger lap 4 maybe shows me it was slightly psychological those other laps, but either way, I know for the training now it's time to start to build that tolerance to these kind of efforts. I haven't done much of that yet. The current focus has been building the threshold, so now we're into the VO2 and the tolerance work, which but certainly going to continue that threshold stuff given how hard those races were and what we had to average. It's not going to be like if this was on Zwift. Overall, there are some of the thoughts that I had. A few little glitches like the leaderboards and segment time to go, things that could help. Again, dynamics aren't my favourite, but it is what it is. It was a good night of racing. Certainly, probably exceeded expectations, as I said, but it's going to be very hard racing at the Worlds. If you have any comments or feedback, let us know. Thanks for watching.